Welcome, everyone. How are we doing today? Today, we're going to be talking about, I have a note card here because otherwise I'll forget my topics. List of topics we're going over today so you guys can follow along. You can skip ahead to the points. I don't know the time points of when these topics will start, but at least it will give you an idea of what we're talking about today. So, I want to first obviously go over a little bit what we just witnessed with the Warriors. I have to stay up to date with sports and stuff. Sports in general, what a great term. Obviously, NBA Finals just wrapped up. But then we're talking about on a more kind of a training mindset, some of this equipment I've recently built, and kind of this portable vertec I built, this new squat deadlift machine I got from Powerlift. I absolutely love this thing. Then I got this awesome, I haven't tried it out yet. I just bought the device today. I'll wait for that one for you guys to figure that out. It's cool. It's really easy, super cheap training trick. And then talking about a little bit about training outdoors and some of the things I've liked. But first and foremost, because I'm a basketball fan, I like sports. I like competition. Who doesn't, right? Let's just appreciate for a moment how awesome it is to see someone like myself, who's a basketball player, who trains athletes, can really appreciate this. Obviously, you all can too. But someone like Klay Thompson get back to the NBA Finals. Everyone's like Steph Curry, Steph Curry, Steph Curry. I love him. Great player. But just from a pure pursuit of overcoming obstacles, I think he had the ACL injury, and during that rehab had the Achilles injury. I just think to myself how easy it would be to get downtrodden, to get upset, to get really disappointed in those times. And he must have an awesome support team around him. And that's someone who has went through some wild obstacles. I can't imagine going through rehab for an ACL. I believe he got hurt. Was it the finals when he got hurt initially? Playoffs, I know for sure. I'm pretty sure. And then tears his Achilles in rehab and has a chance to come back and then wins a championship on his return, right? Now, obviously, there are lots of other reasons why the Warriors win, but for people who are in this industry, the physical therapist, the strength coach, the performance experts understand how difficult it is to come back from one catastrophic injury, let alone two kind of coupled together, stagnating that process of return. That's unimaginable. And that's not talked about at all. Everyone's talking about how great the Warriors are, Draymond Green's performance, and Game 6, how he turned it around. Steph Curry, Finals MVP, is he a top 10 player? But I just wanted to give a moment and appreciate just how awesome it is to overcome that. So I'll leave it there for now. I don't want to dive too much into the specifics because I'm a basketball fan and we can get really nerdy here. But I don't think people who are the common viewers of the sport really appreciate the kind of offense the Warriors won with, but they used to win their games. Just the pace they play with is unbelievable. The spacing, the presence of Steph Curry on the court, and how much attention he draws because he can shoot the ball from anywhere. His pace of play is unmatched. That's something that is super unique in today's game. If you go back, it was the early 2000s and even like the JJ Redick era, you had a lot of set plays. Shooters would run off screens. Rip Hamilton, historically known for that. But then to see Steph Curry do it to like the nth degree it's wild to watch. It almost doesn't even seem like the same sport, the pace at which they play at. So don't want to bore you all there too long with it, but that's just my quick take on it. And it's just something that I think we should all appreciate because it's interesting to watch and you reflect on it as a hoops fan. In the moment, you just enjoy the game, but you don't really realize what kind of obstacles some of those guys overcame, let alone kind of the greatness we're witnessing. But all right, let's get on the training. Those are my 2 cents there because why not? I can't avoid it. I'm a hoops fan at heart. So I recently got this idea. I've been wanting to build this thing. I didn't know what this thing was. I wanted something that we could measure our ability, how high we're jumping. I wanted something that was competitive, that gave feedback, that you could use, though, in a variety of different jumps. Now, there's lots of wonderful devices out there, sports tech out there, that allows you to track your jump height, your contact time. But even like the most advanced tools they make out there just don't have the footprint that's large enough to cover a wide scope of jumps necessarily. And on top of that, if it does, its footprint itself is far too massive to be portable, requires too much technology. So I was at a conundrum here. How do I make a device that is lightweight, that is portable, has a small footprint, but then on the other end allows me to track jumps over a large footprint, over a large variety, and in numerous different situations with minimal technology? And so I came up originally with the idea of, I think it was like a flagpole I was going to make, and maybe like a telescopic flagpole. So like one of those ones where it's like a cylinder inside of a cylinder inside of a cylinder. And so you almost like pull each cylinder up and up and up. And by the time you pull all the way out, it'd be like 12 feet high. So you have a flagpole you could try and touch. But then again, you have the issue that you might run into the flagpole when you try jumping and touch it. And so long story short, I ended up getting, I think it's 27 total feet of PVC pipe. It sounds a lot worse than it is, because the base itself, well, it must be, I actually ended up saving some PVC pipe. You didn't need all 27. It ended up being like 6 feet in all. I think it's two 3-foot PVC pipes, and then two like 1 foot ones, and then a main support beam on the bottom. And then vertically it goes up to about, I think it measures at 12.6 in all. And so it's this massive PVC pipe contraction, but it's really light, really easy to carry. And what we did was it looks like almost like a giant coat rack is kind of the best way to describe this thing. And it stands, again, like I said, 12 plus off the ground. But on top of that, we have like an arm that extends out from the top of it about 1.5 feet. And originally I was like, well, we can run and jump and touch the arm. But obviously it's 12.5 feet up there. So I cut this into 3 foot kind of different pieces. So there's 3 foot, 3 foot, 3 foot, 3 foot, total of 12 feet. But it's a little bit over 12 because you have the coupling pieces in there. But even then, it's like, well, I can't adjust it. 9 feet to 12 feet is a big difference. 6 to 9 is a big difference. And then I came up with was I hung a tennis ball off the top of it. So I got 2 eye bolts. I screwed it in the top and I hung it off the top. And so from that position, I could then mark where that tennis ball is sitting relative to 12 feet, 11 feet, 10 feet. So then I marked off on the actual pole the notches of height. And so with that, I ended up only really using, I had, again, the 12 feet of it all, but I only really ended up using 2 6 foot plus pieces coupled together. And only one of those 6 foot plus pieces, the top 3 feet of it, that second coupling, if you can envision it, the 6 foot piece is 2 3 foot pieces stuck together. That second coupling is where I marked off the 10 foot plus. We measured it out. But what's cool about that is I get to take that apart. And so we might use the full device in the gym. But just recently we went out to the field and we used this device and we had an awesome outdoor workout. I'll get to that in a second. Outdoor workouts are fabulous. I absolutely love them. But we had this massive beast of a machine. And when it gets too windy out, it obviously is not the world's most sturdy thing in the wind. It works just fine in the gym. Sometimes I hold it up myself. I have like a volleyball stand or a tall chair. You can hang on to it, whatever. Not too difficult. It was like $70 at all. So for the price, totally worth it. But I ended up taking just the 6 foot piece off with the arm, hung it up. Well, I held it. I didn't hang it up anywhere. Held it up and I could adjust the string on the ball to different heights. And so we could get outside and we could do whatever workout, whatever jump you want, but then you can at least have an object to jump at. And it's amazing how different you jump when you're trying to actually jump and hit something. The competition, the intent is so much higher. Plus you can measure progress. And that's the twofold benefit of this. Yeah, it's kind of goofy looking, right? And no, it doesn't look the best. It's made of PVC pipe and it's not exactly going to be, if you're just holding it, right? You know how tall one beam is. It's 6 feet, 3 inches or whatever. I guess if I hold it on top of my head, it's going to be another 6'3", because let's just assume that's my height. Close enough. And so, okay, yeah, but it's not perfect. So I'm obviously not in that situation in the field using it to be like, oh, this is going to be the most scientific method. But it gives me something to chase after, because there's nothing weirder than just trying to jump in the air and touch nothing. It's not competitive. You don't have the same intent. It's not really that fun. It's not that exciting. trying to actually jump and touch something, you get in a competition. We actually had people come over. They were swimming down in the lake, whatever. They came out and they wanted to jump and touch themselves because it's fun. They were giving us some crap or run around trying to jump this, and they're like, boo, get it. Or, actually they were kind of cheering us on. So thanks for being supporters and all. But they wanted to come and jump too. And so just by nature, this thing, which is the goofy pole we held up in the air, it challenged you to jump, and it competed, and it drew people in to want to compete. And so that was so awesome to see. And so to tie that in, I guess, wrap it all together, it's that even though this device, again, it costs like $76, $75 from Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, you go and buy, I think it was like the 1.5 inch PVC pipe. They cut it there for me, bought a couple of, 3 9-foot pieces. That's the 27 feet in all. Super easy to put together. It sits in the bed of my truck. I don't move it out. I keep it in there. Awesome to tote around wherever I need. Really cool. Absolutely love it. Excited to continue to use it. Now, that concludes our little talk about my fun little vertical thing I made. But I want to talk about the outdoor workout really quick. Now, we got outdoors. I try to get outdoors more. There's a couple of benefits I really like from outdoors. One, it's not boring. You're outdoors. It's fun to be outside. It's nice to be outside. It's sunny. You're away from electronics. There's no TV. There's no music. There's no phones. You're just out there with a purpose, or even not much of a purpose at times in terms of like it has to be 3 reps or 6 reps. You're just competing and having fun. I absolutely love that aspect of it. I find it that you can get more work done at a higher output. I don't have any science behind that, but my goodness, it feels that way. But some easy things to consider when working outside. It's what kind of equipment can you get the most out of it? And one of the things I ended up getting was, I call this the baby barbell. It's a 15-pound, 6-foot barbell, because if I'm doing jumps as it is, I don't need a massive barbell. But I'm not even going to use that heavy of weight. So I don't need a heavy duty barbell. And this easy peasy barbell is so light to carry. I can carry it with equipment out there, and then I can use it in my workout. It's enough weight that just do repeat jumps is fine. I can add a little bit of weight to it, bring some 45s or some 25s or whatever the heck you want to bring with you, because you might use it for different exercises anyway. Awesomely fun. And then just finding ways to leverage the environment. Is there a hill nearby? Is there soft, do you have a sand pit nearby that you might for some reason use? Is there a harder surface, a softer surface? Having fun with what's available makes those outdoor workouts way more enjoyable. I like to bring stuff out. So maybe we'll throw a ball, try and catch it, try and jump high and catch it, different angles, reaction. Obviously, we have the portable piece of equipment. I love the K-Box. I bring that outside quite a bit because it's so versatile with so many different pieces of equipment that go along with it. You have different handles, different attachments. You can pair it with sprints. You can do ISOs. It's wonderful. One of my favorites to do. So all in all, it's just fun being outside. So try and find ways to go out there. The only takeaway I do have is like, it's easy to forget to drink water. I know that sounds so silly and weird. Like for some reason, when I am in training, I'm indoors, it's almost more structured. It's like as a kid, when you're outside playing, you're not thinking, oh, now I need to do this or that. You don't think about, I need water. You're not treating it like a workout, but my goodness, you are working out. So that's one thing I did realize that you can fall back behind on if you don't actually hydrate yourself well enough. Now, to go along with it, I did mention this cool thing I'm trying to make. And I got this from Stefan Ostling, I think I'm saying his name correctly. He told me, look, I was doing banded jumps outside. I had a bar on my back. We had the baby bar that it was. I think it was two 45-pounders with me as well. And we had that on the ground, and we wrapped some bands through it. So we're doing repeat barbell band resisted jumps. I like those better than just holding on to it or wrapping around your shoulders. It just seems like you can actually push against something a little more. He sent me a message and said, hey, Max, you should try getting dog leash anchors, putting them into the ground. They don't chew up the ground at all, or at least he didn't say it did. I'm assuming it doesn't chew up the ground a ton. Put them in there and attach your bands to it and do different movements. Now, he sent me some videos of him doing like ISOs with them, band resisted movements. He hooked a pulley to all of it. It was awesome to see. Now, I haven't used mine yet. I'm pretty excited about it. I'll be trying it tomorrow. We get back outdoors again for some band resisted jumps with the anchors in the ground. I don't know how this is going to go. So he sent me some videos of it looking awesome. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty easy to use because it is meant for a dog to pull and run around. I'm not trying to put tons and tons of weight on it. I'm sure they make different levels of heavy dutiness of it, but I thought that was one of the easiest and coolest ways, if it does work. Caveat, if it does, I'll give you all an update on that when it comes to training outdoors, because you can attach so much to it. I'll give you an update when we get there. I'll stop it there for now because I do want to talk about that once I try it. So next week, whenever I do my next podcast, I'll make sure to talk about use cases, how I applied it, things I liked, things I didn't like. And lastly, on the topic of equipment, it's kind of our last topic of the day, is that power lift, cool squat deadlift machine I got. Man, it is so awesome. And the reason I absolutely love these kind of machines, these hybrid machines, they're kind of half machine, half free weight. They aren't necessarily this machine in the sense, yeah, it has a specific bar path it's going to follow, but you can manipulate yourself around it quite a bit. In the same way that you consider a Smith machine a machine, when really it's not totally a machine, it's kind of a machine, but it's much less of a machine than, say, of like, I don't know, a preacher curl machine or a seated row or something that's really traditionally a machine, like a leg press. So this hybrid type machine, it doesn't move left or right, it just moves up and down. But what we use it for is all these single leg variations that are otherwise really unstable to get into. Now, we took the scale downstairs and we got on it and we weighed it. When we're holding the machine handles alone are just 75 pounds. But what's really cool about that is as I changed positions, I kind of imagined that maybe certain positions you would lose a couple of pounds here and there, maybe drastically, maybe not as drastically. I know some of you have used machines before and you're like, yo, when I'm in the top position, this machine basically weighs nothing. When we're in the bottom position, it weighs way more. Not this one. It was awesome. It was very stable around that 70-pound mark, a couple pounds here and there, but all in all, really, really well made. I absolutely love this thing. It's sitting in the middle of our weight room. I originally put it there because that's the easiest place to assemble it. And I just keep putting weights on it and I haven't moved it. I absolutely love it. We've been doing things like the single leg RDLs, and you can load that thing up on there so much more than you could ever think you could or would be able to do a single leg RDL. If you think about dumbbell, I don't think you can go much heavier than like 100 pounds, maybe 115 pounds. You got really massive dumbbells and you got something to support yourself with. But with this machine, we've gone well over 100 pounds, easily over a pound. I think 200 pounds, maybe even 3, at least on single leg work. Not necessarily just a single leg RDL, but single leg work, but different positions. We do Bulgarian squats within it too, which are absolutely fabulous. Different handles for positions. You can manipulate your position based on the handle. You go a little lower, you're a little more depth, back up, you're a little bit higher. But it's something I've been using for ISOs. I mean, I'm absolutely a massive fan. I don't know how much more a fan I can be of machine. It's awesome. It's so unique in regards to the positions you can get in because it solves so many problems that I have with other machines. Like if I want to do a dynamic single leg, highly stable RDL movement with moderate amount of load, I have no idea how to do that. You can kind of get away with it with a safety squat bar yoke setup, but again, it's not perfect. I've even found that ISOs are better on that machine, at least in regards to the tension I'm feeling, because I feel like when the safety bar, I almost offload some of it just on my spine. If that sounds weird, it's kind of stack my spine up in a column. I'm very strong that way. When I get onto the actual squat hybrid machine, it's way more demanding. I get way more glute activation in conjunction with my quads and even more of my soleus gastroc than it would be just a traditional ISO. So I'm a huge fan of it. We'll see how it continues to roll and how we'll add it in our programming. But right now we've been using it quite a bit. And I've been seeing some, it's been 1 week plus, but nothing to, I don't know, maybe who knows? I got my first tip slam in an adult league game the other day. Maybe that's a contribution to it. Probably not, but who knows? I almost got another tip slam today shooting around, and I've never had a tip slam my entire life. So I don't know. Maybe I'm able to activate my nervous system more aggressively. I'm able to be really stable, have high force outputs. Maybe I'm just able to load my glutes in a way that I haven't been able to. I'm a guy who has done deadlifts. I've deadlifted 500, I think even 600 pounds not horribly long ago. 6-7 months ago, I think I tried for it again, 585, maybe I pulled, whatever. Point is, I've deadlifted a lot in my time, and it's great. It's wonderful. Nothing compares to the glute burn that you get on this machine. I've done hip bridges. Hip bridges are great. Nothing compares to the glute loading you get in this machine. And then you can manipulate yourself based on that position to get more quad dominant or whatever you might be. So absolutely love the machine. And moral of that story is, look, machines are great when used appropriately. You don't blame a fork for using it to eat soup with, right? It's not the fork's fault you used it to eat soup with. Use it to eat a steak with. It does a lot better job. Same with machines. A machine isn't going to solve every problem. Barbells also are very versatile, but because they're so versatile, they're specific to nothing. Machines are very specific and they're very useful when used appropriately. So use your machines appropriately. I'm a huge fan of them. Absolutely love them. And at the end of the day, they are something that I try to incorporate for a specific purpose. This machine right now, I'm going to continue to use it. I'll give you guys updates along the way of how I use it. I've added some chains to it, which is really cool. But ultimately, the patterning that you get, this hip extension, you can drive your front knee up so you get some flexion with it as well. It seems to be great utility. I'm excited to see how the next couple of weeks, month play out, see how that feels. And again, provide updates as I continue through this. So as always, thank you for listening, man. I appreciate everyone for listening to this. I'm going to try and keep these podcasts rolling here, get this thing started, have different segments, different questions and answers. Maybe we're going to have, I'm going to try and talk about what's going on in my life, things I'm encountering, things I'm learning, books I'm reading, articles to share, so on and so forth. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. As always, take care. And I hope you all enjoy. So again, appreciate you guys. Take care.